Hello students, welcome to IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the recent earthquake that has struck China in the midnight of Monday, and the earthquake recorded to be have been around 6.2 magnitude on the Richter scale, and this earthquake has hit the Gansu region of the China, which is situated somewhere in the what we can say is the northern and central part of China. So let us try to understand about this earthquake and generally about earthquake in more detail. So first of all, to give you the brief context of this particular topic, as per the recent report that is coming out from China, at least 118 people have been reported to be killed in the country's believed to be the deadliest earthquake of the country in the last 13 years. We talk about the earthquake, it is 6.2 magnitude earthquake that has hit the mountainous region of China that is situated on the northern side of the Tibetan plateau that is called as Gansu province, and the fatalities may rise also, with hundreds already have been reported to be injured, especially in the current situation, which is chilly, icy, winter-like situations that has developed or that is prevailing in the Gansu region. Apart from that, Chinese President Xi Jinping, taking stock of the situation, has ordered thousands of rescue workers to that particular region among the poor, and also this region becomes important from the point of view that this is believed to be the poorest and most diverse region of China. So let us first of all try to understand the geography where earthquake has struck. So as you can see on the map of China, this shaded red region is what is called as Gansu region where earthquake has happened. And basically, if you look at that, on the upper side we have Mongolia. This entirely is the China. So from earlier time, even we can say from the medieval time, Gansu is believed to have a very vital strategic point, or it is considered to be a strategic pivot that used to link the center of the country that is situated to the south of Wangho River, also called as Yellow River, with, and also it connects the vast territory in the extreme western region of the country. And it is a narrow corridor that has served for several centuries as a passageway between the upper Yellow River area and the Chinese Turkestan region in the south. Now, if you look at the current earthquake, basically Gansu lies between the Tibetan and Loess plateaus and borders Mongolia. Remote region, as we have discussed, is one of the China's poorest and most ethnically diverse region. And the epicenter of the earthquake, epicenter, if you try to understand in the terminology of seismicity, is referred to that point which is just lying above the focus. Focus is the point where exactly the disturbance has originated, and since the epicenter, the point directly of the focus, is the place where earthquake waves are recorded first, and also where the damage is believed to be the strongest or maximum, is basically situated in Linxian Hui Autonomous Prefecture, that is part of Gansu province. It is home to many Chinese Muslim groups, including the Hui, Bonan, Dongxiang, and Salar people. These are the main tribes residing in this particular region. Chinese authorities have said that the quake measured 6.2 on the Richter scale, while this claim has been refuted by United States Geological Survey, which considered the earthquake to be of magnitude 5.9 and a depth of 10 kilometers. Now, depth here refers to the depth of focus that we have discussed earlier, the place where the earthquake has originated. About 10 aftershocks have also taken place in this particular region, that is also local authorities have reported. So, first of all, if try to understand that why earthquake has happened in this region of China, or why generally earthquake happens. So basically we can try to explain it from the theory of plate tectonics, that is a prevailing theory currently in the geography. So as per the theory of plate tectonics, it is believed that the entire earth is divided into several major plates. Exactly 7 major plates are there, whose boundaries you can see on this particular map. And if you look at the location of China, actually it is situated between several other plates. For example, this is China. So China itself is a part of Eurasian plate. However, from the southern side, it is having a boundary with the Indian plate. On the northern side, it is having a boundary with the North American plate. And in the what we can say eastern side, it has a boundary with Philippine plate and further to the Pacific plate. And since it is surrounded by several plates, whenever the plates move relative to each other, it causes frictional forces, and due to these frictional forces, rocks are displaced, rocks break away, and this breaking of the rocks causes vibration, and this vibration travel in the form of energy or in the form of waves, which is responsible for earthquakes on the surface. So that is the main reason why earthquake happens. It is because of what we can say tectonic disturbance or plate tectonics. Now, as we can see from this particular chart here, the plate movement can be classified majorly into three types. For example, we can have divergent plate boundary, where two plates, as you can see from this particular diagram, are moving away from each other. So whenever two plates move away from a common line, the volcanic eruptions generally are recorded, and due to the movement of the volcanic magma, earthquake is also recorded. Second type of movement is what we can call as convergent plate boundary, where two plates are colliding with each other. Due to this collision, the forces are exerted on the rocks of both of the plates, and due to these forces, what happens? The rocks are either fractured or the folding results. This also causes the vibrations which is seen or observed in the form of earthquake. A third type of movement is what we can call as transform plate movement, where plates are neither moving toward nor away from each other, rather they are simply sliding past along a common boundary. Due to the sliding of two plates related to each other, again the rocks of both plates applies forces on each other, and due to these forces, here and there you see the break in the rock, which is called as fault, and the development of fault again is related to the occurrences of earthquake. So basically what we can conclude, that no matter which kind of plate movement is happening, whether it is convergent plate movement, divergent plate movement or transform plate movement, earthquake will be natural result of this particular process. Now, we have discussed earlier that as per the Chinese Geological Survey, it measured the earthquake on Richter scale and the value was quoted as 6.2. However, the US Geological Survey has quoted the value of earthquake as 5.9. So, let us try to understand the measurement scale that is called as Richter scale. Now, Richter scale is one of the most widely used and popular scale all across the world to measure the earthquake's magnitude. Richter scale basically is a type of logarithmic scale that calculates the earthquake size by measuring the ground motion on a special kind of instrument which is referred as seismograph. Seismograph basically, it has a pendulum-like structure where the movement of needle is recorded, and the movement of needle is then plotted by the ink, and the movement of needle is corresponding to the vibration that is observed on the ground surface. Overall, the value can be recorded somewhere between 1 to 10, where 1 being earthquake having least magnitude and the 10 of earthquake having the highest magnitude, and magnitude is sometimes also directly what we can say correlated with the amplitude. So 1 will refer to earthquake having lowest amplitude, while 10 will refer to earthquake having the highest amplitude. Now, how does the variation happens in terms of destruction and disaster? That we can clearly see from here. For example, if we talk about the recent earthquake that is lying somewhere between 6 to 7, so we can see in such kind of earthquake, generally it has a very strong impact, property damages and loss of life is recorded. Similarly, if we talk about the scale 7, it has a major impact with extreme damage and loss of life. On the other hand, if you talk about the 10, something what can say the earthquake having value 10 has never been recorded in the history of humanity till now. The highest magnitude of earthquake that we have recorded is only 9.8, and it is believed that any earthquake that is having value higher than 9 on Richter scale will cause massive disaster, near total destruction, with leveling up of almost 80 to 90% of the buildings that is situated in that particular region. And this is something that we have observed in the case of 26 December 2004, when 9.6 magnitude of earthquake triggered a tsunami in the Indian Ocean, causing large scale disaster in all the Indian Ocean countries. That is all about the Richter scale. Now, the earthquakes are also basically classified into multiple types based on what is their major causes. So overall, we can classify earthquake into 4 types. The first earthquake is what we can call as the tectonic earthquake, which we have just discussed, that earthquake that results due to the movement of tectonic plates relative to each other. The second type of earthquake is what we can call as volcanic earthquake, that results due to the movement of magma within or through the earth's crust, and finally its eruption on the earth's surface. The third kind of earthquake is what you can call as explosive earthquake or explosion related earthquake, that directly is a result of nuclear weapons testing or some kind of massive bomb explosion. And the fourth is what you can call as collapse earthquake, that results due to the collapse of large superstructures such as huge multi-story buildings or dams or something like that. So that is how we can classify that earthquake into 4 different categories. Obviously, if we talk about the Gansu earthquake of China, it obviously is a type of tectonic earthquake. Now, as we have discussed before, the entire earth is divided into multiple plates, and wherever plates move related to each other, we have the probability of earthquake, and that is how we can chart out the major earthquake areas of the world, or what we can say high earthquake risk areas of the world. And as we can clearly see from this particular world map, that China and even the northern part of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh and part of Central Asia all are lying in high risk region. The region again is same. We have Indian plate from south, Arabian plate from the west, Eurasian plate from the north, Pacific plate from the east, and thus these four plates are confluencing, and whenever any plate move related to each other, we have a high probability of earthquake here. If we talk about Japan, which is having a very unique geographical location, as you can see, Japan is a country which experiences more than 500 to 600 earthquake events per year, and that is something we can see here because the reason is because Japan is situated at tri-junction of the plate. For example, on the eastern side of Japan, we have Eurasian plate. On the western side of Japan, we have the Pacific plate. And on the southern side of Japan, we have the Philippine plate. So, since it is situated at the junction of three plates, there is a high probability of movement or tectonic plate movement, and that is why the number of earthquake events are very much higher here. Similarly, talk about the western coast of North America and South America. This is also a region of high earthquake prone zone or risk area. The reason is because the Pacific plate is subducting below the North American South American plate, and thus here we are having the oceanic continental convergence that we have discussed before, and this entire region is not only earthquake prone zone but also high risk volcanic zone as it is lying on the circum-Pacific belt of the Pacific Ocean or on the Pacific Ocean. So that is how we can chart out the major earthquake prone zones. Now, as we have discussed before, earthquake is nothing but it is a tremors that is generated somewhere below the earth's crust, and then the seismic wave travels through the earth crust and then they propagate on the earth's surface, creating the vibrations and disturbances. So overall, the earthquake waves can be divided into four types, that is the P waves, S waves, these are called as body waves, and then we have R waves and L waves, these are called as the surface wave. Now interestingly, the P waves and S waves are the most important wave because these also help us to understand about the internal structure of the earth. But however, there are certain differences that we have to understand that exist between the P wave, that is the primary wave, and S wave, or that is the secondary wave. First of all, primary waves can travel through all kind of medium, whether it is solid medium or liquid medium. On the other hand, S wave can travel only through the solid medium, it cannot travel through the liquid medium. And as we can see from this particular diagram, since the Earth's outer core is made up of liquid phase, we can see S wave is not able to travel. And that is why if earthquake happens here, that is the focus, that is epicenter, the seismic wave, that is S wave, travel through the entire area of the earth except this region where earthquake waves will not be recorded, S wave will not be recorded because this part is made up of liquid. So this zone that is between 103 to 180 degree is referred as shadow zone of S wave. On the other hand, due to the refraction of the P waves, again between 103 degrees to 145 degrees or sometime to 150 degrees, P waves are not recorded, and that is why it is called as the shadow zone of P wave. The movement of the waves are given here. As you can see from here, P waves are type of longitudinal waves which travel in the form of expansion and compression. S wave is a type of transverse wave which travel in the form of what we can say crests and trough. Rayleigh wave, on the other hand, is what we can say is a mixture of P wave and S wave, where we see compression, expansion, as well as the sinuous movement that we can see here. And love wave is when we have the S, what we can say, we are having transverse kind of motion, but it is not perpendicular, rather horizontal in nature. So that causes change in the orientation of the structure of the medium through which the L wave is passing through. So that is how we can identify the two types of body waves and two types of the surface waves. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you understood overall about the basics of the earthquake and the news related to the recent earthquakes in China and the regions behind that. That is all for this particular video. Thank you.